I guess for about a year I've been working on a switchblade mechanism. I want to make a switchblade knife. And so I figured, like I did with my other knife, the best way to try to get, a grip on the mechanism itself, because it is fairly complex, was to make a mock-up in wood. In this case, though, I made it double size, so it is fairly big. And it did point out some of the things that I wasn't actually seeing when I designed it in SketchUp. And I'm just going to click it now, and you'll see that it does shoot the blade out a little bit, but it won't go all the way. And there are a few reasons for that. And then once it goes all the way out, you slide the switch back, and it's supposed to pull it all the way in again. And it doesn't do that either. Now, the reason for that are a couple of areas where there's a lot of friction in here. You need a lot of spring tension, first of all. So I put 2 springs in here. What they did, though, was they pushed the things that they pull on downwards, and that actually, pushes down on the blade as well. So that's causing friction there. Also, the blade doesn't really have, being made out of wood and fairly thin, it doesn't have enough mass to shoot forwards. You really need to have something that has a bit more mass. Anyway, I'll get in here a bit closer so you can have a better look. These are the parts that pull the blade back and forth. They're U-shaped, and as you can see, they slide freely forwards and backwards. But as you can also see, they're kind of angled up here with the spring tension that I have on here. So they're pushing downwards on the piece that slides back and forth. That will engage and release the blade mechanism to slide back and forth. There are also a couple of wooden springs on each side here, and what they do is they lock the blade in position. You can hear a click when it goes back and forth. That click there is the spring engaging in the end of the blade, and when it goes back, it actually clicks and engages in a notch that I put on this side of the blade as well. Okay, you might be saying, well, John, that's fascinating, but what's that got to do with anything? Well, I just thought I would try to put this video up and gauge reaction to it, just to see if it's actually a project worth pursuing, because I've already spent a lot of time getting to this point, and this is really just firewood now. Despite the several hours work that I put into it, I'll probably keep it, but it really doesn't work the way I want it to. And I really honestly didn't think it would work from my very basic design that I came up with. But there are a few bright points. It does do exactly what I thought it would do. It comes forward the right amount, and it locks in place. It won't push back in, and it won't pull out any further. And the mechanism basically does work. It just needs to have the parts better designed so there's less friction, and the blade really needs quite a bit more mass to it, so it actually, when you look at the mechanism, how it works here, you'll see that the spring, as you push this part forwards, the spring gets longer and puts more tension on this back one here. But what's stopping it is that wooden spring in the back here, or in the side here, that's in the notch in the blade. So it gets to a point where this piece that's inside here, this is all very complex, I know, but I'm going to do a website article to go along with this, and that will explain it. It won't come out with this video, but it will be somewhere along the line, and I'll show all the parts as I cut them out, and that will be a little bit of a better explanation. Anyway, this piece also has like ramped parts on it that push this spring out as it comes forwards, and that actually releases the blade so that it can come forwards. But it only comes forwards as far as this thing does. the rest of the, to push the blade out the rest of the way, it's supposed to be, momentum or inertia. That's a little launch there, that's the power thrust. And then the blade is supposed to shoot out the rest of the way. That way, if you were to, say, put your hand in front of it, like out about that far, the blade would come out. Yes, it would actually stick in your hand if it was sharp enough, but it really wouldn't have any force behind it. It'll just have the inertia. So anyway, let me know what you think of it in the comments. No, I didn't really show how to build it, but like I say, I want to gauge reaction to it. If there was enough interest in me doing this, I would spend a little bit more time with the design, actually a lot more time with the design, and come up with something that is not only works, but is a lot more compact. Even though this is twice the size that it would be, that's still pretty big. That's pretty bulky. Because, okay, you look at this as one side of the handle here, and this little strip here is actually the other handle. I only put that in place so I could see the mechanism and how it works. And then there would be more on the side here to cover up these springs and whatnot. So, like I say, let me know.